Hello and greetings, people of Earth. My name is Beth Bailey, and I am here with you with another episode of Let's Chat Creative Pathways podcast. Today, I'm going to be coming at you with a solo episode to catch up, talk a little bit about what's going on in my corner of the world, and also talk about things I'm excited for, events coming up, clients I'm working with, and grants I think you should be applying for if you live in Massachusetts, because the grants that fund a lot of Creative Pathways programs I am applying to through the Massachusetts Cultural Council. So first of all, I hope you like my new setup. It is a work in progress. It's probably going to be different next time, but I am trying to figure out a place in a way that I can record a bit more regularly, have some more of these solo chats going on, sprinkled in throughout when I have guests. I wanted to steam clean this, but this very low budge operation here took me about 45 minutes to set up. I have all my art supplies and a bunch of inventory and all sorts of things behind this tablecloth here, which is 2 tablecloths, and there's strings and clothespins holding it all together. But I wanted something down in my studio because I can record more regularly here without interruptions. I do love recording from my couch, if you've seen my previous episodes. So maybe we'll keep our guest spots up there and do more solo time down here. I kind of got off schedule with releasing these episodes over the summer and just tried to lean into that and be fine with it. It's a busy time here. I got 2 small kids, and the schedule seems like it's just different every single week in the summer. And then enter into the fall, get back to school, get into my normal hustle. And then one of my organs exploded. Yes. That is right. I had a ruptured appendix. I'm 2 weeks post-op right now. So I have a lifting restriction. I can't lift more than 15 pounds for another 2 weeks. And then for another 2 weeks after that, they told me just slowly I can increase to around and slowly beyond. I need to listen to my body, I've been told, which is hard because I like to go. I like having lots of irons in the fire. I like being busy with work, with art, with family, with friends. I could probably pursue an ADD diagnosis for myself if I wanted to, but, it's not crippling for me. I feel like I make it work for me. So was in tons of pain. And then once I kind of got through that, I'm really in a phase now where it's the mental hurdle of trying to slow down. With pottery, the clay comes in boxes of 50 pounds, and there's 2 25-pound lumps of clay in there. So, I'm not probably going to be throwing pottery for another month, which is fine because my business model really has been moving towards wholesale the past few years. And I've got a couple great wholesale clients and galleries and boutiques that are selling my work who all buy wholesale from me. So I'm actually current with that. I'm not needing to get into the hustle preparing for holiday season right now. It is October 1st. So the past 10 years, this is usually when I'm buckling down for holiday sales, but crazy. The plan's actually working. So my pottery is mostly sold. And if I wanted to do another push, I would have had to been hustling. And again, I'm really trying to slow down. It is so hard for me to slow down. Anyone else have this problem? Yeah, it's been wild times. I have some notes here, things I want to talk to you about. And, oh man, one of the things that I missed because of my surgery was my award ceremony for receiving the honor of being named the Massachusetts 2025 Community Arts Educator of the Year. I was so excited to go celebrate with my peers. I was looking at the list of other people who won. I know someone from Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum won for the museum educator. And that really popped out to me because I went to college next door to that museum at Massachusetts College of Art and Design. So I was excited to meet that person and everyone else there. My pain had been building. My appendix ruptured on a Monday, and I had been sick before, so I'd been telling myself the pain was just from that, from having been hurling. And then the rupture, honestly, I felt like I was giving birth. It was ridiculous. I knew, I even said to my husband at one point, I think most people would have checked themselves into the hospital for pain by now. But, I was feeling tough with my high pain tolerance. And after the rupture, it did start to get better. So I went to sleep that night thinking it'll be better in the morning, or at least telling myself that. And I woke up the next morning with blood in my urine. So I was not doing better. Drove myself to the hospital, hobbled in there. And that night I had surgery. So that was a Tuesday. Since it had ruptured and had been leaking infection throughout my abdomen, they had to keep me for a couple days. IV antibiotics, lots of Dilaudid, which frankly didn't seem to really help the pain. It must have taken the edge off, but mostly just put me in another world, which was a fine place to be. By that Friday morning, I was home and woke up thinking that I was going to make it to my award ceremony. That was insane. There was absolutely no way. And again, learning to slow down, learning to listen to myself and listen to my body, not my head. And had to sit that one out. That was a real big bummer. And I had a great group of family, friends, colleagues who were all going to come and support me there. So that was so sad. I'm in the process of rebooking that celebration. So I'll still have an opportunity to celebrate that because really such a big honor. And as someone who is running their own business, one woman staff here, unless you count Jeff, my husband, which we should, the CFO and person who's doing all of my books and helped me get my nonprofit status and all of that, the two of us. And it's really cool to have a credential like that where I've been acknowledged for the work that I've been doing in the community. So that's for all my creative pathways work, all the education I'm doing, grant write I'm doing, and all of that. So where I'm at in my work cycle right now is something I want to talk about because if you are someone who's interested in working for yourself, probably in any capacity, but what I know is arts, community arts education, is everything's in cycles, right? So like I was mentioning earlier, normally for a potter and probably for other artists too, you're getting ready for holiday season. This is when most of your sales happen. Really probably for a lot of businesses, there's a holiday push. So because I have moved towards wholesale, a lot of those sales for holidays actually happen earlier for me. So I have one client I'm working with right now who might be putting in one more wholesale order for me, but these are galleries and boutiques who need to get all of their items on the shelves now for the last few months of the year. So I really don't have that whole market grind that I'm preparing for. Instead, right now, always shifting back and forth between pottery and creative pathways, all the educational and grant work that I do. So I am in grant writing mode right now. The Massachusetts Cultural Council has local cultural council grants open for just about 2 more weeks. So I'll try to get this episode out quick. It's mid-October they close. So you might just have about 1 week left. But honestly, don't be intimidated. The applications are very specific. They ask exactly what they want to know, and they're leading questions, right? How many people in the community will your program support? What do we think they're trying to get there? They want to be getting your program accessible to many, many people in the program, right? So if you have a program that's going to be serving 10 people, just looking at the question they're asking right there should get you brainstorming, or go into ChatGPT or ask friends and family, how can I blow this up so that this program idea I have that's maybe would work for 10 people can expand and get lots of people access to this in the community. So say you have a program where you are doing workshops and you're teaching monoprinting, right? Just like a random printmaking technique. Monoprinting is a great program to bring out to the community. It travels well, and people can have good success right away, right? You're thinking about running a monoprinting class. You might not get a lot of points from the grant application on that question of how many people are you serving. So what if you are suggesting that you are bringing a monoprinting workshop to a large community event that's already going, right? Think pre-existing groups. That's been the key to success for my grant writing. I've worked for lots of different museums, small studios, and community centers. And at those places, we were running classes that would be trying to attract individual people to sign up for the class. That's hard. That's really hard to do. As an organization, it's easier. You have bigger buy-in. You have foot traffic, all of this. As an independent artist like myself, that was a huge shift for me. So when I started working with pre-existing groups, okay, so let's backtrack and talk a little bit about local cultural council grants. What does that mean? Okay, so Massachusetts Cultural Council gets a whole bunch of money from a variety of sources, and they distribute funds to the individual towns and communities for them to decide how they want to spend their cultural money in their own town. I love this. I think this is great. Usually the people running the cultural council, maybe exclusively, are volunteers. So these are volunteers from your town, if you're applying to your town, and I suggest that you do because you also get points for that. That's one of the questions. Does the person live or work or have deep ties to this community? So for example, I live in the town of Whitman, so I know I'm going to get more points on that application when I'm applying to Whitman. I do apply to other towns if I have deep community ties in those towns. So another grant I'm writing right now is for the Friendship Home. That's located in Norwell. That's an amazing community center for people with a variety of learning abilities, very diverse population there, and it's a community center for adults. So there is a big event they have for Mother's Day where they're inviting everyone in for the community, right? So on that question about how many people am I serving in the community, it's not, for that grant, it's not just the people who are a part of the Friendship Home community, because that event is open to the public. So lots of anyone who knows anything about Friendship Home, they're welcome to go to that event at no cost. So that's going to get me bigger points. I have a legitimate community connection with the Friendship Home. They've hired me to bring me in to do programming there. Love getting an opportunity to work in there. It's an amazing asset for our community. But also on the question of how many people am I serving, it's going to be hundreds of people, right? Not maybe just 20 people, or even maybe smaller numbers like 5 or 6 people that might be there when they're hiring me to come in and just do one individual workshop, right? So if you want to get a grant, you want to be serving a large number of people in that community. So where I live, on the South Shore of Boston, each town has its own local cultural council, okay? So think about that. Where do you have genuine community connections? Hopefully in your own community. If not, start making some, right? Start going to these little events. Like in my town, the local cultural council organizes an amazing event called Whitman Day. We have a beautiful park. We take over the whole park. All different local businesses and organizations come together. They have food trucks. They even did a beer garden one year, bounce houses. Just it's a great time. a really enjoyable time for the community. So one of the grants I'm going to be submitting is going to be having a Creative Pathways event there. And it might be something for me simple, right? Because I already have my programming off the ground. I have about 20 sketchbooks that travel around the community. They go to professional artists. I just mailed one out today. So professional artists have them at their studios. You could go to several local businesses like Levitate in Hingham, Massachusetts, Frame Center in Hanover, Massachusetts. You could go there and participate. And then if you come to any of my programs, right? Like on Friday, I make art with residents at an apartment home community in Brockton. I always have my sketchbooks there. So large range of participation in these collaborative sketchbooks. So for the grant I'm writing for the Whitman Day event, I'm going to be submitting this to the Whitman Local Cultural Council. Volunteers from Whitman are working on the Cultural Council receiving these grants. So they're going to see that I am going to be asking to bring all of my sketchbooks. I'll have a couple tables laid out. I'll have all sorts of markers and pencils, all sorts of things for people to contribute. And the funding I'm looking for is going to be covering my time to prepare. I include my admin time, right? How long did it take me to write this grant? And, something old mentor told me a long time ago was, you can't charge more because it takes you a long time to do something if you're still learning how to do it, right? So if you have never written a grant before and it takes you 10 hours, how long do you think it would take you if you were in the rhythm with it, right? So for me now, I've been doing this for about 3 years, writing grants for these specific applications, and maybe an hour, right? I'll probably sit down for an hour and fuss with it a bit. I'm going to account for that time. That's admin time, right? Think about it. When I was working for the YMCA running arts programming, I was getting paid salary, so my admin time was accounted for. So as an independent artist, I also want to value that time as well, right? That's important. So I'm accounting for my admin time, my materials costs, which, just write down the materials you're doing and estimate, right? Don't go crazy. Sometimes I end up breaking it down, ends up being like about $3 a person, right? And then how many people am I expecting, right? Okay. So you start figuring out your costs that way. And I don't think I'd really need much else for budget for that particular grant. So I'm hoping to be at a community event, engaging with my community that I'm involved with, bringing an interactive arts activity that is no cost to anyone, right? All of my funding is going to be coming from the grant. It will be no charge to anyone, but I'm of course going to have signage up about Creative Pathways. What is it that I'm doing? So that's like another benefit I'm going to get. I mean, every event I go to, I get at least one more lead. That's actually how I ended up connecting with the Friendship Home in this capacity. I had worked with them long time ago. Actually, I think it was when I was working at the YMCA. But in this capacity, I was at a local market and was just chatting with one of my customers, turned out to be programs coordinators for the Friendship Home, right? So I'll be at my Whitman Day event, hopefully, if I get my grant, and have all of my stuff. People will be participating. It'll be great. It'll be an opportunity for me to be out in the community, engaging with my community, seeing all sorts of familiar faces, and hopefully getting more leads on new projects. Okay, aside from local cultural council grants, you kind of get the idea of that. If you have questions about how to do something like that yourself, let me know. Happy to coffee dates or like hop on a quick Zoom with people and share this information. I think the money's out there to be spent, and the way I understand it to work is that the more money that the cultural councils use, the more they get awarded the next year for disbursement, right? So rising tide raises all ships is applicable here. This is not competitive. This is community, okay? Another grant that I think everyone in Massachusetts should be applying to is the $5,000 grant for creative individuals. Okay, so this is a grant that you apply for based on information about who you are as a creative, as an artist. So for me, I'm going to be talking about my pottery. I'm going to be talking about the creative pathways art that I make. And they ask you some questions about how you would spend the money and how long you've been making this art. I think there might be some questions about mentors, where how you've kind of come up and come into a position as a serious creative. And I don't know anyone on the inside there, but my hot take on this is it kind of seems like the grants are being awarded at random. Probably not completely at random, but if you look at the funding list, right, they always publish, and this is true for local cultural council grants as well, you can find the list published of who was awarded what, right? So for the creative individuals, you can look. And what I noticed when I look at that for the last grant cycle, because I did apply last year and I did not get it. I don't take it personally, but I always try to get information from that, right? So I looked and what I saw was it seemed like there was a range of artists and creatives who received that $5,000 grant from across the entire state. So I think they're trying to make sure they're not giving everyone who applies is all from Boston, right? They want it to be throughout the whole state. And so when I looked, I did see there was another artist, a dancer from Whitman who received the grant. And so that made sense to me, right? It's a small town that I live in, smaller population. I'm sure they want to disperse these grants around a lot. And I'm sure there's other factors too, right? I would also imagine they're trying to get a good balance of artists. So if it's mostly visual artists, and now we're looking at Whitman, a small town, and there's a dancer and a visual artist, the dancer might make more sense for them to give that grant to, right? And now this grant, there is a limitation of how often you can apply for it after you receive it. So you can apply every single year. And then from there, I believe it's maybe 3 to 5 years or something. You can't apply again, but then you can throw your hat back in the mix. $5,000 is a huge amount of money for an artist. And it's to support you and your goals in your studio and with your creativity. So that one also mid-October. And I'm telling you, if you're seeing this and you have a week left, do it. Just go on, fill out the application the best you can. For the grant for creative individuals, you can actually submit videos. So some of the responses doesn't even have to be written. You could do a 2-minute video and upload that, which maybe I'll do because maybe that would be something else that would make my application stand out. Since obviously I'm comfortable doing video and audio stuff, that might be a good opportunity for me to utilize that feature. I didn't do it last year. And since I use AI to help me with my editing for my writing, writing does honestly happen a little bit quicker for me these days. But it might be nice to just talk. And also, I am very open about my use of AI when it comes to editing. So I brain dump when I'm filling out these applications. And I know there's so many different opinions about AI, and I get it. That's a complicated and nuanced conversation that I'm not really talking about right now. But since I am so public about it, maybe it would be even nicer for me to do a video upload, right? So people can see, yes, I use AI. I believe ethically. But, if it's a video, people can see, yes, I'm actually the one coming up with these ideas and saying these things. So, yeah, but if you want to go writing and you're interested in the AI thing, what I do is I'll have the question, what is the program you're trying to run, right? Listen to me. I could go on and on about everything, right? So I brain dump. I do a whole verbal brain dump about the program I'm trying to get funding for. And then I say into ChatGPT, I'll say, now answer this question, copy and paste in the question from the grant application that I'm filling out. And then I say, and answer it in 350 characters, right? This is why I'm able to apply for so many grants. And I said I wasn't going to get into the AI thing, but just to say, again, it's essentially a one-woman show here. I wouldn't be hiring someone to help me do writing. I love writing. I like doing creative writing. I like doing critical thinking. That's not my business, though. My business is arts education when I'm applying for these grants and making art. So, if I wasn't using a tool like that, these things just wouldn't be getting done. I don't have enough time in the day. I have 3 days a week to do all of my work when my kids are in school. Okay. Then I'm like switching into mom gear. And I do love doing it. So after bedtime, I am working on grants and this and that. But anyway, use the tools at your disposal. Okay. Just use them. Okay. So I started getting into this, talking about the work cycle that I'm in right now. So for me, I'm in grants, I'm in events too. So I have been invited to work on some events coming up at the Frame Center in Hanover. So if you're a local, keep an eye out for that. It's going to be really fun. And I'll let them talk more about it. I'll do like videos and pictures when it comes up, but I don't know what their plan is for dispersing information. So stay tuned, keep an eye on the Frame Center information, and I'm always posting when I'm actually doing the work for the day on things. So I'm going to be doing some live art stuff with them, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. I popped in there today to drop off another batch of mugs, it's a great account for me. And so tons of Frame Center mugs. Some of them I worked on with my sister-in-law, Kayla Gilmore, which is super fun. It was a bigger order from me. So she threw and did the first firing of 20 of the mugs, delivered them to me, and then I did the design and all like the surface decoration and glaze work. So I was dropping those off. I can't lift, so Jeff loaded up my car, and then Dave and Scott from the Frame Center unloaded my car and then loaded my car back in with one of the latest completed pictures, paintings, collage, mixed media pieces that I made over at the Douglas House in Brockton with the residents there. I am so excited about this piece. I think they're going to be hanging it in the entryway when you first come into the Douglas House, and it is gorgeous. It is a picture of a taxi cab covered in flowers, and I added in Yvette, who is one of the artists who works with us there and lives there, as the driver of the cab. And the cab, I have it parked diagonally across the street on a road in Brockton. I think it's Crescent Street. I grabbed a historical photo to decide how to do the layout of that building. So it was cool. After the piece had already been started, which was based on a drawing by another resident Ruth made actually on my first day there back in April. She had this flower cab that she had drawn. There was a Mickey Mouse in it, very colorful. There was a rainbow. There was a cross. So I got a rainbow and a church in. I didn't quite get the Mickey Mouse into the mix, but the cab. And so, yeah, she was saying this is a female entrepreneur, cab driver. And so I was working on that with the residents. We were working on that for weeks and weeks. And then I brought the piece to Brockton Elementary School, where I was working with some after-school kids, which, by the way, if you're any interest in donating to Creative Pathways, like I said, I did become a nonprofit. And every time I raise $400, that will give me enough funding to go on site to work with the after-school program at Downey Elementary School in Brockton. So check out the donate page of my website, creative-pathways.com/donate. So far, I have $25 donation, plus a $10 donation that I submitted just to test to make sure it worked. It does. It's a tax write-off. In your email, you'll get an automatic email with the information that you can use at tax time. So donate to me there. Anyway, I brought this piece that I picked up for framing today. I brought that with me while it was in process to the elementary school. And it was great because one of the teachers there said it reminded her of the Tap Tap cabs from Haiti. And there were some students who have Haitian heritage as well as Cape Verdean heritage, which we were talking a lot about, as well as a whole bunch other. It was a very diverse community, and it was really exciting to get the kids talking about that. But one of the teachers recognized the cab and she goes, "Oh, that looks like a tap tap cab." And she told me about this book, this children's book, which I ended up getting. And tap tap cabs in Haiti are, I think they're more usually buses, but can be cars too that are painted, beautiful, bright colors. So, right, looks just like this tap tap cab in our collage we were working on with the big, beautiful flowers painted on it. And I had done a road, almost like a shadow underneath the cab using music paper, so sheet music. And so I guess in these cabs in Haiti too, there's like loud music, it's party vibes, it's fun, and the kids are all swaying back and forth in there. Yeah, it was really exciting to learn about that. I don't remember if I had put Yvette in as the driver at that point yet, but I ended up just having this random photo with Yvette in the background painting, and her face was just perfect. She's always got a very like focused, serious face, until she starts laughing or being silly. But it was the perfect. So I put her in the cab, and she actually is from Haiti originally. I mean, she's lived here for decades, but anyway, it was perfect. So I was picking up that piece at Frame Center. I cannot wait to deliver it. They brought it out to my car for me, so I didn't bust my stitches. And I'm psyched. I'm finally going to get back to the Douglas house this Friday. That is my Friday job. So that goes all year when we're talking about the ebb and flow of work life as an artist, the grants, holiday season, this and that. What's really made my business sort of like really get some nice stable legs under it is those consistent clients. So Frame Centers always ordering mugs from me that they use as merch, like that they give out. So that's an amazing regular window painting jobs I'm doing. And then just all this stuff coming together. What was I just even talking about? What's my other consistent job? Oh, Friday. Yeah. I just love that job so much. It's awesome. It's great. And I'm going to be starting to bring in more and more visiting artists. That's been in the works for a long time. I've been working on booking out visiting artists for a long time, but it's absolutely fantastic that my first visiting artist, Lindsay Boss, check out her episode. I interviewed her a while back. She's an amazing collage artist. I booked her, so she's coming with me this Friday. Thank goodness, because I can't lift anything. Right? So between pottery, lifting my kids, and my traveling arts education business, how can I not lift more than 15 pounds? This is killing me, but I'm doing it. So Lindsay's going to meet me in the parking lot so I'll have Jeff and my kids help load my car. I'll have Lindsay help me get in and out, and we'll do it. So psyched to get that piece delivered to them and have Lindsay there. So she'll show us some of her collage techniques, bring some of her stuff, and we'll get her working in the mix on some of these larger collaborative pieces we have going on too. We have a bunch of floral pieces we're working on right now, which are great. And I keep looking over. I got one over in the corner there that I actually have fabric texture that Yvette actually was the one who was working on weaving them in. And to make these strips of fabric look like a tablecloth. It looks awesome. It's so good. And then there's another Yvette as well who comes to class regularly, and she's into diamond art. And she's got me into diamond art, and now I'm all about it. And we've actually been adding little diamonds. They're little like teeny tiny pieces of plastic, but they're these nice little sort of like jewel cut shape. And they're tiny, tiny. So you use tons of them, almost like to make pixelated art, but it comes out great. So we've been using some of those to add into the florals, like the centers of the flowers and stuff, along with the collage materials and everything else. Who else? I have a bunch of artists. I was pitching Carla Hunter and Dina Brennan today, telling them I wanted them to come in as visiting artists. I have Marcia Ballou, who said she would come, which is huge because she's such a big inspiration to me with this style of work. And also, I showed her work at the art center on the YMCA property that I worked at many moons ago. And I'll never forget, she had this big interactive piece. She had this big sheet of felt with some design work and then all these little felt pieces in bins so that visitors could come in and make their own compositions. So yeah, huge inspiration to me. And she's donated a lot of her scrap materials to me that we use in these projects. So actually the Tap Tap Cabin Brockton piece that I just picked up from framing, I mentioned how it has sheet music underneath the car. It's actually that some of that sheet music came from the stash that she sent me. If you look closely, it's silver bells, which doesn't really apply. Although I guess there is a big, it seems like Christian community of people that I'm working with. And that's like a holiday related song. So whatever, it all comes together. So, okay. So this actually reminds me, to put out a call to visiting artists. If you want to work as a visiting artist with me, come, because the visiting artists who are coming with me to the Douglas House are being paid. So I am paying these people for their time. We're there from 9:30 till, well, I guess I get there at 9:30. I'm setting up. People are coming and are making art from about 10 to 11:30. And then I start breaking down. I'm out of there about noon. So lovely morning. It's wonderful. It's just like, it's almost like a sewing circle vibe, right? So the way I run the program at the Douglas House is sort of like a directed open studio. So we have our large collaborative pieces that we're working on. I also have the sketchbooks if people just kind of want to decompress and do that. And then all the greeting card program that I'm running. So we're making greeting cards using collage and mixed media as what we've been doing is making them as welcome cards. So when new residents move into the building, they'll have a welcome card that's in their language. So we're doing lots of different ones in lots of different languages. And now that we're starting to get some of the finished pieces, the larger scale works, like the Sentimento di Cabo Verde, the triptych that if you go a couple episodes back, I have a whole speech I did. I videoed the ceremony, the gathering we had, talking about it and how it all came to be. Love those pieces. And I tested it out with one. So I took a good photo of one of them and had that printed as cards. So those cards are getting in the mix too. But yeah, so we'll have greeting cards and large pieces set up, sketchbooks, and now also the diamond art. I also had one of the Sentimento di Cabo Verde vibes. I guess it's not vibes. I'm like adding another English word, but if you translate it's Feeling of Cape Verde is the name of that triptych. So I had one of those pieces printed into the diamond art too. So you send, it's just like on Amazon, and then it comes back sort of with like the photo printed on canvas, but then superimposed with a grid of little circles that essentially it works like a paint by number, but you're gluing down all of these little diamond arts. So much fun. So we also have that going. So I kind of set everything up, and as people come, people kind of coming in at their own time, between 10 and 11:30. I kind of ask them, do you want to do painting today? Sketchbooks, collage, like, what are you feeling? And then I kind of get them set up or give them my setup that I have going and move on. So, I'm thinking that when Lindsay comes, she's a collage artist. So I've asked her to bring a few pieces to just kind of have on display so we can show people this is the type of art Lindsay makes. And then, I'm definitely going to set her up with some of our larger, floral pieces that we're working on now, see if she can add any of her materials or any of ours in there. Just so exciting to get that blend of, people who are living there working on them. I'm working on them. And now we have visiting artists coming in. So if you're an artist, shoot me a line if you want to come in and work with this lovely group of people. Also, I am currently hiring 4 visiting artists to work with me on an artist residency. And that's another grant I got. I guess we're going back to talking about grants. This one is one, and it's in a different part of the cycle, right? So thinking about work cycle, how to make a weird little career for yourself like I have is largely dependent on the grant timeline too, right? So local cultural council grants for creative individuals from the Massachusetts Cultural Council are all open right now. But there's another grant that we submitted back in April, and that was for the Creative Projects for Schools grant. I think they might have changed the title of it, but I have all this programming, right? All the sketchbooks, the cards, this and that. And I had this moment in the shower where I realized, thinking about working with schools and wanting to expand, doing bigger projects, why don't I work with the school that I'm already involved with, my daughter's elementary school? So I reached out, got in touch with the principal. He was very supportive of the idea, and visiting artists, right? I love bringing in more than one artist. So that's a big part of why I'm doing this whole podcast, right? To kind of prove my point that there's so many different ways to be a creative in this life. You don't have to be selling your work in a gallery. You don't have to be teaching art in a school. So the idea is that we're going to be making greeting cards, the entire elementary school, collaborative greeting cards we're going to be making, sending them out to the community helpers, also sending them back to the kids. So each kid will get one in the end as well. There'll be a family night. But one of the exciting things is visiting artists. So I'm hiring 5 visiting artists to come in and spend a day working at the school. So it's like 6-hour day. And then there's going to be a culmination of a family night, and I'll have all the visiting artists present for that. So 2 days, but this is how it goes for me. I just book 1 day, 2-day jobs here and there, and before you know it, your schedule is booked out. So I've reached out to a couple people, but yeah, let me know if you want in on that. And I love working and collaborating with others. So this is just sort of what I'm doing this year, but I'm always looking ahead at the next thing and keeping my eye out for future opportunities. So if you like the idea of coming to work with one of my communities at some point, let me know. Okay. These are paying gigs. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much what I got on my list here. And right at the top, slowing down, talking about slowing down. Does any of that sound like slowing down? Let me sip my latte to help me slow down. It is so hard to slow down. Oh my God. It's just, see, I'm so passionate about all this stuff. How do I possibly slow down? And then, I just love my children so much. I always wanted to be a mom. I just want to be present with them and play with them. And I do a good job about that. There's been times where I'm hyper focused on work when they're home, but I've really been in a good role with that. Trying to bring in more things like cooking. So when I was on pain meds for like a week, oh my gosh, I ended up flushing my oxys because frankly, they just made me feel weird in the head. I swear to God, they didn't even barely help with the pain. I mean, I keep saying that. They must have taken the edge off, right? But while I was all doped up on that, I was scrolling on Instagram a lot, middle of the night, whenever, so uncomfortable. I slept on the couch for 2 weeks because I could prop myself up better with pillows. And also my children weren't climbing on top of me in the middle of the night, which again, I love it and I hate it. It would be nicer not to get, randomly kicked or rolled on or peed on in the middle of the night, but they're so damn cute and I always wanted it. So, anyway, 2 weeks on the couch scrolling, lots of cooking. This is a gap in my life, right? This is all about balance. So trying to really appreciate this dream life I have as a mom and as an artist and in a community I was raised in. And I'm so happy and grateful to be able to continue to be a part of. And, it's taken me a couple years of really hustling and figuring out all these components to get my career as an independent artist off the ground, as opposed to showing up for work and working for other people, which I had to do for many years to gain the information and the knowledge that I have now. I don't regret any of that. But when I decided to make that change, it was a total hustle. And I don't need to hustle like that anymore. I need to downshift. I need to switch gears. I need to take care of all the clients I have, nurture the ideas I have. And this podcast is one of them, really, because I do feel like I have a lot of experience and insight to offer people about living as a creative and, specific ideas on how to get these things done. So yeah, this is a nice opportunity for me to sit. Look at me. Does it count as relaxing and slowing down if I'm sitting, even though I'm babbling on into this microphone here? For me, it does. I'm not running around, although I was running around, like I said, for 45 minutes putting this very fancy set together here. But yeah, so slowing down, cooking, simple things. Send me all of your one-pan recipes, trying to get more nutrients into my body. Yeah, just focus on what I have. One of my dear friends, Buthena Moulin, has been an amazing supporter of mine for the past couple of years as I've been getting Creative Pathways going. And she was so kind to reach out and check on me, send me flowers in the hospital. I wish I could pull my phone down from recording here so I could read you the text she sent me. But it was basically, slowing down is so important. And it's hard when there's so many things that you love. But if you're rushing past them, you're not getting to fully immerse yourself in each moment. So trying to slow down, trying to enjoy all of these wonderful things I have in my life. And I hope for that for you as well, especially all of you creatives who are going into hustle season. So once you get your calendar set, one day at a time, focus on what you have coming up. And if this grant idea has you interested, but you're like, okay, lady, I got 1 week to do this, that's fine. Don't do it right now, okay? But just put it in your calendar for next year in August to start fleshing out those ideas, because the grant cycle is the same. They open September 1st for the local cultural councils, and they close mid-October. So you get about 6 weeks to do it. In the meantime, keep an eye out for genuine community connection, right? Show up for your townie activities. Talk to other people who are involved in things, right? Like, networking gets a bad rap, and I've been calling it community building because that's all my success has come from genuinely liking people, genuinely loving to be around people, genuinely being curious about people and wanting to work towards supporting them in whatever my capacity is, in my random little niche expertise in this world is. So dig into that for yourself. Where is your special skill set, and who do you have genuine community connection with? So let me know what you think. If you have any questions about any of the grant stuff, if you're interested in being a visiting artist with me, it's low commitment. I'll pay you. And it's better for the overall work. The more people that are working together on these projects I'm developing, the better it is for everyone. And the richer our community as a whole will get. And you don't have to be local. Maybe you're going to be visiting New England and you want to pop in. I'll get you a date in somewhere as a visiting artist. So thank you for listening to my chat. I'm excited about my guests I have coming up. I have a great friend and photographer I'm going to be interviewing later this week. I have a musician that is on the books. We have rescheduled several times. Her baby was sick, then I was sick, then her mom was sick, who is providing childcare for the baby, who is now healthy. Fourth time's a charm. So we're going to shoot for that. And and I got a bunch of other leads out there. Also, if you're a creative or work in any creative capacity and you're interested in having a chat with me, we'll go upstairs from the studio onto my couch, which is a little bit more cozy, and we'll have a chat. Okay? So I'll see you guys all next time. And thank you so much for spending this time with me.